Alright guys, this is part 2 of section 7.5, Quotients, and we are talking about how to work with imaginary complex numbers and rationalize denominators. And we're going to start with this example here, our second part with this example. We want to simplify 2 plus 6i, the quantity 2 plus 6i, divided by 3i. We don't want to show all the steps all at once there. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see if we can get it to show one part at a time. There we go. So we're going to rewrite that first as 2 plus 6i divided by 3i. And then we need to rationalize our denominator. We need to turn this I into an I squared. And we do that by multiplying by I over I. And we remember that anything divided by itself is 1, so we're just multiplying by 1. We're not changing the quantity, we're changing the form. We're changing what it looks like. And so we're going to distribute that I here. So we get 2i plus 6i squared. And at the bottom we get 3i squared. And we know that I squared is just -1, so we can substitute -1 in for both of those, and we get 2i minus 6 divided by -3. And that gives us, when we've got 2 terms on the top and 1 term on the bottom, we can just split those into 2 fractions with a common denominator. So we're going to write that as 2i over -3 and -6 divided by -3. And that simplifies then to 2 over 3i, or -2 over 3i. That's our first fraction here. And then we have -6 divided by -3 is +2. And we do want to write our complex number this way. So we want to lead with the real number 2 minus our any imaginary part, so minus 2/3 I. All right, fractional exponents in a denominator should also be rationalized, even though that wasn't one of our rules of simplification. And we don't want to have an answer with fractional exponents there if we can rationalize those. And so if you remember, we talked about we don't want to have any fractions in the radicand. We don't want to have any perfect roots as part of our radical. And we don't want to have any radical expressions in the denominator. Well, remember that fractional exponents are just another way to write radicals. For example, 25 to the 1/2 power is the same thing as the square root of 25. So a fractional exponent is just like a radical, just a different way to write it. So it's going to follow those same rules as well. No fractions here. We don't want 1/2 to the 1/2 power. We don't want anything that can be simplified, like 25 to the 1/2 power can be simplified as 5, and we don't want to have any of those in the denominator. We're going to have to rationalize those. So let's take a look at an example. After we see this reminder, there will be times when you must multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the original denominator. And we'll talk about what conjugates are in just a second here. With this example, we've got 8 minus the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 3 plus 2. Now your first instinct might just be, okay, we need to get rid of the square root of 3, so let's multiply that by the square root of 3. Here's the problem. When we multiply this by the square root of 3, we've got to distribute. So you're thinking at first, okay, square root of 3 times the square root of 3, that's just 3. But the square root of 3 times 2 is 2 square root of 3. And we didn't do anything. We still have this irrational number as part of our denominator. So just multiplying it by the square root of 3 doesn't get rid of that square root the way that we need it to. So when we've got a binomial down here, this square root of 3 plus 2, what we want to do is multiply it by its conjugate. And, we're familiar with conjugates already from factoring difference of squares, but here's what a conjugate looks like. It's going to look exactly the same, square root of 3 to 2, but what's different is going to be this plus and minus sign. And what that does, when we multiply by a conjugate, essentially, if we were to distribute this, remember, first outside, inside, last. Our outside term, let's say our outside term here is going to be negative, and our inside term is going to be the exact same thing, just positive. So this is a 0 pair. Those zero out, leaving us really just our first and last terms. And in doing that, we don't have any rational numbers or irrational numbers. It gets rid of those roots like we want it to when we multiply by the conjugate. So we're going to multiply by the square root of 3 minus 2. We're going to do the same thing to the top because anything divided by itself is 1. And we don't want to change the value of this. We just want to change the form. And multiplying by 1 doesn't change the value of anything. So we're going to go ahead and multiply that out using the box method or distributing, FOIL, whatever method works best for you. And when we multiply that out, we get 8 times the square root of 3, 8 times negative 2, negative root 3 times root 3, and negative root 3 times negative 2. You end up with 8 root 3 minus 16 minus 3 and plus 2 root 3. On the bottom, what we're going to end up with is just 3 minus 4. Multiplying by the conjugate gets rid of the root down here at the bottom, and it basically just squares both of these here. So we've got the square root of 3 squared, and then 2, 4, and we keep that sign negative since we do have that negative 2. Negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. We then simplify as much as we can. On the top, we've got our 8 root 3 and our 2 root 3 that we can add to get 10 root 3. Negative 16 and negative 3 becomes negative 19. And at the bottom, 3 minus 4 is negative 1, which we can then simplify and write as negative 19 divided by negative 1 is positive 19. And 10 root 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 10 root 3. Again, leading with our real component here of our complex number and following with our irrational part there. So 19 minus 10 root 3. All right, let's take a look at another example here. Simplify 2 plus I divided by 3 minus I. Let's go ahead and write that as a fraction. 2 plus I divided by 3 minus I. Now we see this I down here at the bottom, so we know that we're going to multiply by the conjugate of whatever our denominator is. We need to rationalize the denominator. And the conjugate of 3 minus I is 3 plus I. Whatever we multiply the bottom by, we also do to the top, because anything over itself is 1, and we are multiplying by 1 so that we don't change the original value, just changing the form. So when we multiply that out, we end up with 6 plus 2i plus 3i plus I squared on top, and 9 minus I squared on the bottom. We're going to substitute negative 1 for our 2i squareds. So we get 6 plus 2i plus 3i minus 1 over 9 minus, and notice how we used our parentheses to protect this negative, 9 minus negative 1. We'll then simplify by combining like terms. So on the top, we've got 6 minus 1 is 5, and 2i plus 3i is 5i. And on the bottom, 9 minus negative 1, or 9 plus 1 equals 10. Now, like we said before, when we've got multiple terms and they all share a common denominator, we can write those as separate fractions. So I can write that as 5 over 10 plus 5i over 10. And 5 over 10 simplifies to 1/2. 5i over 10 is 1/2 I, or I over 2. And 1 plus I over 2 is our final answer. If you're like, what just happened here? So I did 5 over 10 is 1/2. And 5i over 10 is also 1i over 2. And then we've got our common denominator. So 1/2 plus I over 2 is 1 plus I over 2. Again, just thinking fractions and common denominators here. Separated that there, 1/2 plus 1/2 I. All right, guys. So today we took a look at rationalizing denominators. Remember that we can have no fractions in the radicand, so not simplified. We cannot have any perfect roots. So if we had square root of 8, that could be simplified some more because we've got some factors that are, excuse me, perfect squares in there. And we also don't want to have any radicals or any irrational numbers in the denominator. At this point, this is the process where we learn to rationalize the denominator. Multiply it by something that would cancel out the index of the root, or in the case of longer irrational denominators, we need to multiply it by the conjugate, where the first and last terms are the same. It's just a difference of signs there in the middle, which will get rid of that irrational number for us. All right, I feel like I have been stumbling over my words and saying irrational when I meant rational and rational when I meant irrational. So make sure you guys write down any questions that you have, and I will see you in class.